Isu jalan rosak dan berlubang melibatkan jalan alternatif yang menghubungkan Bandar Seri Bandi ke Kampung Ibok di Kemaman yang tidak diselenggara menimbulkan pelbagai kesulitan dan menjadi igawan ngeri terutamanya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hanafi bin Slamat. Matric number HF190045. First of all, I would like to thank my supervisor, Associate Professor TS Dr. Kamarudin bin Ambak, for guiding me along the way until I managed to finish my Master Project 1 assessment. To my beloved panel, Associate Professor TS Dr. Muhammad Yusri bin Ahmad and Insinyur Mustafa Kamal bin Shamsuddin, a lot of thanks for being my panel. Today, I will present about development of International Roughness Index performance models using historical data, a case study of MUAR Federal Road Networks. To keep the road functioning properly, the maintenance and rehabilitation work program must be properly planned. In order to identify and prioritize the area affected, which must undergo maintenance and rehabilitation work, JKR, as one of the responsible bodies for road maintenance work, has implements priority control list. This study will focus on IRI performance model development in MUAR federal roads. Other than that, it also will identify the RII rating and the possibility of accident rates. Road maintenance and rehabilitation works are very crucial. Motor vehicle accidents are among the leading causes of mortality in Malaysia, according to statistics released by the Ministry of Transportation in 2018. According to Chang et al. 2009, road roughness or smoothness inspections are performed to monitor the pavement conditions in order to evaluate the right quality of new and rehabilitated pavements. Based on the introduction given, these are the problem statement. According to a Mamluk et al. 2018, the performance of the pavement roughness can contribute to the probability of increased accident rates. As the length of roadways and the number of vehicles on the road continue to grow, road maintenance and repair will face significant challenges. The Road Maintenance and Repair Agency Jabatan Kerja Raya has been confronted with major issues, particularly in terms of prioritization in recent years. As a result, the focus of this study will be on the FT 005, which is Federal Road in MUAR District, Johor, in order to determine whether there is a correlation between pavement roughness and accident rates. Additionally, historical data from the IRI and rutting depth data from the chosen road trunk will be used to develop the relationship between both variables by adopting a regression analysis technique. From the problem statements given, these are the objective of study. Number 1, to identify the correlation between the RII rating and the possibility of accident rates. Number 2, to determine the relationships between IRI and rutting using regression analysis on historical data. And number 3, to develop IRI performance models in MUAR federal roads. And now, let me explain about the scope of the study. First, study was carried out on MUAR Federal Road, which is FT 005. Number 2, data of road depth and International Roughness Index IRI were extracted from historical distress data in 2015. Number 3, equivalent single axle loads were converted from Road Traffic Volume Malaysia RTVM 2015, which is produced by Jabatan Kerja Raya Malaysia. And lastly, develop the RI performance model using the regression technique. According to JKR 2019, federal roads are the network of road gazette under the Ministry of Works. For record, they are total length of 19,912 km road trunk, including Sabah and Sarawak, as per shown in the figure on the right of the screen. Under the Federal Ordinance 1959, all federal roads have been placed under the responsibility of Ministry of Works, that includes management, maintenance, and construction of a new trunk. The road maintenance budget accounts for a significant portion of public expenditures and is currently around Ringgit Malaysia 580 million per year. According to Zakaria and Sufyan, again, when road user cost and vehicle operating costs (VOC) are factored in, the total expenditure by the road transport sector is even significantly greater. Now, let's see what is International Roughness Index is all about. The International Roughness Index (IRI) is a ratio of accumulated suspension motion obtained from a standard vehicle divided by the distance travelled by the vehicle during measurement in meters per kilometer or millimeters per meter units. The tables on the right will explain briefly on the condition term and IRI scale according to ASTMD and Jabatan Kerja Raya. This literature study continued with the probability of accident rate that comes from the road roughness. Accident rate is affected by several factors such as human factors, vehicular causes, environment, roadway geometry, traffic volume, pavement condition, and their combinations. Pavement condition, however, cases a small percentage of accidents as compared to human factors, according to Nair Baskara ETL 2016. In southern Queensland, Australia, King 2014 had found the correlation between crash rate versus average road roughness, as shown on the right figure. Other than that, he also plotted the data of property damage per year that caused from the crash event. Now let's dig into the methodology of the study. The study begins with the problem statement as discussed in the earlier video. From there, the objectives and the scope of the study has been determined. To understand more deeply, literature study has been undergoing systematically. Just to tackle the study objectives, the first part of literature will cover into the journal and papers that describe the correlation between accident rates and pavement roughness to answer the number one objective. Secondly, the understanding is focused on IRI application and implementation, plus the derivational of the formula to correlate between IRI and the routing data. And lastly, IRI performance models in more federal roads can be developed. Not to be forgotten either, learning and hands-on of SPSS software in order to continue the regression data analysis later on. For the data collection, the raw data for the IRI and RUT depth in this study were segmented into 200 meters and 500 meter segments. The severity of IRI and RUT depth as shown in the figure. Other than that, the traffic sensor station from the RTVM 2015 is needed in the determination and interpretation of ESAL as shown in the figure. From those data, the equation has been derived as shown in the screen. There are various types of equipment setup for getting information data of IRI and RUT depth. For an example, Chang ETR 2009 used an autonomous robot to measure the IRI. In this study, the data was measured by using multiple laser profiler equipment. Data recorded for every 100 meter interval in both traffic flow direction. Next, by using the Statistical Social Package Science SPSS software, the multiple linear regression and simple linear regression data then will be determined. For data validation purpose, in order to determine how correlated the independent variable and dependent variable were, the multiple correlation coefficient R was calculated. Known as the coefficient of determination R squared, this statistic represents the proportion of variance in the dependent variable that is affected by the independent variable when two variables are compared. The R squared is a common indicator that has been used in various studies to determine how well a model performs in terms of accuracy. The accuracy is greatest when the value of R squared is close to 1 or 100%. And now, let's jump to the expected result. This study will expecting three hypotheses. Firstly, the prediction that the RII rating has a minimum contribution towards road accident. Number two, the result of the regression analysis, whether simple or multiple linear regression, were interpreted based on the statistical significance. And lastly, the predicted performance model will help in road maintenance and rehabilitation program and planning.